Well, folks, that really sucked. That really sucked. Oh, hold on. Some of you are going to get upset. I don't know why this does this sometimes. I got to make that red, That can't be accused of Rangers colors. But yeah, that was absolutely painful and really sucks. Oh, welcome back to all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And the New Jersey Devils, not a good one tonight. Riding an 8-game winning streak, heading into Colorado, looking to make it 9. And it was absolutely not in the cards. Not in the cards whatsoever for our New Jersey Devils. Falling by a painful score of 8-4 to the Colorado Avalanche. A lot to get to in this one. Painful night. There's going to be some bad nights at the office, and tonight was one of them. Out of it early, in my opinion. That Markey penalty, I mean, I don't want to drown Markey for the whole thing, but he definitely played a sizable role in the loss. Cheers to all you guys. Win or lose, we booze. I have a couple more stragglers. Win or lose, we booze. This one was painful. Sip up, kids, because wow. What a way for the streak to come to an end. I didn't want it to come to an end, but all good things come to an end, and we knew it was only a matter of time. At some point, this Devils club was going to lose. I wish it wasn't in this fashion. But I'm not even going to go over all these. I mean, this is just completely insane here. But, Markey fires the puck over the net nearly immediately. Delay of game penalty. Just a horrible penalty. You can't do that, especially in a game like this. Some new tweaks to the lineup. Guys probably a little uneasy. And then right away, we're on our heels. And the guy we all hate, Natchez, he scores at 124, 1-0. And it just felt like just bad vibes from that point on. Devils really, I mean, they had a better first period after that. But yeah, 1-0. And then a former New Jersey, no, I'm not going to say a former New Jersey Devils player, but a former Devils asset, Bardakov, the guy that we traded for Curtis McDermott. Nice breakaway goal. Scores his first NHL career goal on the breakaway, beats Markey 2-0 after 1. And I was, the Devils did play a decent first period, if not for the power play goal right away and the Bardakov breakaway. Like the Devils did a lot of things in that period. They had shots. Wedgewood was looking like he was going to, be Wedgewood against us. Going into the game, we went over it beforehand. His last 4 games, he was like 4-0 with the goals against, a hair over 1 and some absurd save percentage, like .930. And 2 of his 8 career shutouts were against the Devils. I mean, and that spanned multiple teams. I forgot to look up the game-by-game log, but he had played for Arizona, Dallas, Nashville, and I think one of those may have even been an Avalanche start. So, we were up against it, 2-0 after 1, and then they just poured it on. Eventually, scoring 3 goals in the first 8:39 of the second period. They make it 5-0, and at that point, I was just nauseous. 5-0. At that point, you're saying, game over, obviously. At 3-0, I said game over, if I'm being real. And then it was 4-0, then 5-0, and you're like, at that point, I'm like, I don't even want to stay up to watch the rest of this. Never mind do a show. I just want to forget this day ever happened on the calendar and move on to the next game. And then the Devils just go insane. They score 4 goals in the next 4:04 to really tease us. Glad to see Nason get one, obviously, missing all that time with the injury. Nice finish by Nace to make it 5-1. Then Dougie Hamilton with a great heads-up play. Puck pops up. I think he knocked it down with his glove to his stick and finishes it for his 4th from the brothers Hughes, Jack and Luke with the assist. Cuts it to 5-2, and you're like, oh, here we go. Is this really happening? And then, sure enough, I mean, it just – the ultimate tease. Beautiful play with Nico and Dawson Mercer. Cut it to 5-3. Dawson Mercer just continues at the pace he's been playing at. For all the Dawson Mercer detractors, deposit those apologies in the comments. And I'm going to circle back on the Dougie because we're going to need those apologies too. And then the ultimate, like the point where I almost felt like I was resurrected from the dead was the Jack and Bratter play. I mean, Jack and Bratter connecting on that play. Jack drops it through his legs. Bratter cuts in. Jack slides back and then just gets fed and bombs one in to make it 5-4. Jack continues just to dominate, his 9th of the season, leading the league. He also picked up the assist, obviously, on that Dougie goal. 2-point night for him. Cuts it to 5-4, and now a lot of you in the chat were getting fired up, as was I. Now when it's 5-4, I'm now kind of stomping around watching this in my house, and I'm like, this is about to be the greatest New Jersey Devils regular season win of all time. When they come back from down 5-0, who would have thunk it? But shortly after the Jack beautiful goal, another penalty for the Devils. I mean, the officiating it is what it is. I mean, I feel like we've been up against them all season long already on the young season. But the penalty zapped the momentum. MacKinnon scores on the power play, makes it 6-4. Heading into the third, down 2, and you're like, okay, well, we scored 4 goals in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. Could we possibly muster something up in the third? But more penalties, more BS, and Olofsson completes the hat trick in the third period. Nate Dogg was looking for one too. He didn't get it, but Olofsson got the hat trick. Final score 8-4. There was a tease in there. I'm going to circle back on some of this, but go to the game stats. Nace with a goal and a hit. Nico with an assist, 4 hits. Glendening with a block and 2 hits. Timomeier an assist, 3 shots, a block, and a hit. Paulie Cotter with 6 hits and an assist. Bratter with an assist, a shot, a block. Lemico, 3 hits. Jackhughes, goal, assist, 2 shots. The Dog, Dawson Mercer with a goal and a shot and a block and 2 hits. I don't even care to read the rest of this, honestly. I'm just disgusted. But Markey giving up an 8-pack. An 8-pack on 42 shots, 810 save percentage. Just not a good night for Markey. He was abandoned. There was shades of the 23-24 New Jersey Devils tonight. Let's be real. The defense collapsed so many times and was just giving up grade A chances. But I suppose part of that is, when you're chasing a game and you're just down the entire game. But after 5-4, man, yeah, this one sucked. A horrible way to lose for a streak to end. It really was. Especially after they made it 5-4. I really thought it was just like destiny. How great of a story it would have been if they came back from down 5-0 to keep a winning streak alive. But terrible game, obviously. Terrible game. One of those ones that I think you just throw away and look on to the next one. It just was tragic. Markey, not good, obviously. He, again, left out to dry. A lot is on the team. But there's a few of those goals he had to have. And I think, if Allen was in there, I think we could have won the game. I can't say definitively because there were so many breakdowns and, breakaways. But it just felt like it was getting away from us quickly after that delay of game penalty. And it is what it is. This game sucked. Team knows they have to be better. After the game, Coach Keefe said no one demands more of this team and is harder on this team than me. And he just was... he knew what it was. It was a horrible game. And what are you going to do? This was just tragic. In terms of the defense, obviously missing Pesce is massive. Missing Pesce is absolutely massive. Probably, arguably our best defensive defenseman. He's great on the penalty kill. And did I skip over the game stats? I did. My apologies, folks. Game stats 30 is Devils 30 shots on goal, Avalanche 42. Way too many shots, obviously. Faceoff's pretty close. Devils 48.6% to the Avs 51.4%. Special teams. Normally a strength for the Devils. Special teams absolutely sucked tonight. Devils go 0 for 2 on the power play. And what do you know? Without Brett Pesce in the lineup and on the PK, the Avs go 4 for 6 on the power play. Special teams. You could win and lose games with them. And tonight they did us no favors, handily losing the special teams battle. Devils 26 hits, Avalanche 17. Devils 10 block shots, Avalanche 15 block shots. Devils 14 giveaways, Avalanche 21 giveaways. Devils 1 takeaway, Avalanche 3 takeaways. And that is your kind of tail of the tape here with the game stats in a game in which I hope to soon forget entirely. The one positive, as I mentioned in the chat to some of you that were there, shout out to everyone who was in the chat during the game. The only single positive is that this team is not last year's team, and I hope at least in an ugly loss like tonight, many of you saw that. This team showed some heart. They showed some fight. They were down 5-0 early in the second period, and they clawed back and made it 5-4. Who thinks last year's team would have done that? Absolutely not. And so this is the Never Say Die New Jersey Devils. They did make it interesting. This is just a really bad game to open up a West Coast road trip. It is what it is. The boys are now 8-2, and they're going to have to figure it out. Pesce, I knew Pesce's absence was going to be a big hit, but it's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. And it's unfortunate for the team. Pesce's loss is a massive loss. Massive blow, massive injury that they're going to have to overcome. The defense looked out of sorts pretty much all night. And again, Pesce's massive on the penalty kill. Not having him there, we had one of the best penalty kills in the league. We had a streak of 21 consecutive kills. Brett Pesce playing a big role in that. And tonight, we've given up, I think it was coming in through 9 games. I forget what it was, but we had given up 2 power play goals, I believe, all season. We gave up 4 tonight in one game. We've given up 2 in the previous 9 games. We gave up double that in a single game. And that's the Pesce effect, folks. And so they're going to have to figure it out. Obviously, Casey looked lost for a lot of the night, and I can't blame him. He hasn't played in the league in a while. Coming in thrust into the lineup against a very good Avalanche team. It's all very unfortunate. They're going to have to figure it out. But circling back, looking for the Dougie Hamilton apologies. I mean, you just in terms of the offense he generates, what a beautiful play and finish by him. And he won the Sharks game the other day with 2 power play goals. But aside from that, hey, rewinding to the summer, I told everybody, and a lot of you agreed with me, but a lot of you didn't. And those are the people I'm going to be looking for the apologies from. When everyone was just like, oh, we don't need him. We have Luke and Nemitz and this guy and Casey. And I said right away, young kids on defense scares the ever-loving out of me. It really does, because on some nights, young kids can get exposed by top lines on the other team and look like very inexperienced kids, and it can be ugly. And so for me, I said this from back in the summer, why I want Dougie, veteran presence. And I said to everyone, I think having a decor with Luke, Nemitz, and Casey is just a little too much youth for my comfort. That is 3, by and large, inexperienced defensemen to have as half of your decor. And that really worried me. And I told everybody to assume that these kids are just going to step up without going through some of those, further growing pains is asking a lot. And you saw it tonight. All 3 of them were in the lineup. And, I'm not singling them out or whatever. There's a lot of things that went horribly in this game. But having youth on your blue line is a scary proposition. And for anyone who still believes that the team should trade Dougie Hamilton, I'm sorry to tell you, you couldn't have been more wrong. You couldn't have been more wrong for both his offensive contributions and his defense. He's looking much better defensively this season, and it seems like that's something that maybe Bradshaw and whoever kind of have been coaching him on or asking him to work on. But he's been much better than we've seen in the past, and that's just defensively. Aside from the offensive contributions that he brings, I still believe he is our best offensive defenseman, and you've seen it on the power play. Again, that Sharks game, 2 beautiful power play goals. I'm a Dougie guy, but if you're not, it's time to come around to it, because too many young guys on the blue line, and it can be painful. And tonight, I feel like that was kind of part of it. And without Pesce, it's a lot to overcome in short time. And the team was not ready tonight. They absolutely were not ready. And that delay of game penalty kind of set everything off into the wrong kind of direction just right away. And it is what it is. My thoughts on this team have not changed as of this game. I still think the Devils are an amazing team. We're going to be good all year long. Shit games are going to happen. Tonight was one of them. And I'm going to say overall, it was a combination of the refereeing, the officiating didn't really help us. Markey being very shaky. And new D pairings really do matter. No Pesce and all the D pairings getting shuffled around with 3 kids running around out there. It's a lot It's a lot to kind of overcome against what was definitely a kind of pissed off Avalanche team looking to get some payback. And it is what it is. I'm going to make no excuses. We got our faces bashed in. Hopefully they put it behind them and they rebound big in San Jose. I fully believe that we should see Jake Allen in next game. I mean, I thought Jake Allen, I talked about it before the game. I did think Jake Allen should have started this game. I did think, bringing Markey back for the first game in a couple weeks against a very good and, again, pissed off Avalanche team on the road. Not something I would have done, but I'm sure they had their reasons. I'm not going to sit here and bash Keefe and whoever else, probably the goaltending coach and team played a part in these things as well. And I'm sure they had their reasons. But in the end, I personally would not have done it just because, I would have never seen this disaster coming. But to thrust a guy who's been not playing for a couple weeks into the net against the team looking for revenge in their building, I just wouldn't have done it. But it is what it is. They did it, and it was painful. It was a painful game, and hopefully we see Allen in the next one. I do think starting Markey in the next one would be kind of crazy. And I guess if I'm being honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Markey does start the next one. Maybe they think, just get him right back out there to kind of bounce back after a bad game and hopefully get a win against San Jose. But tonight was not pretty, and I hope these guys kind of take that anger into the next game and pound the Sharks and start a new winning streak. I'm going to get some of these comments. Vince, thanks for the super. Let's be honest, not a great start. Markey's first back, but the team did battle. No doom and gloom. I don't expect Markey to let an 8 often. Let's go Devils. Yeah, I mean, Vince, you have points there, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little worried about Markey. That was, tonight was a night. That was not, Vince, and we're missing pieces. We'll be all right. No, I fully believe we're going to be all right. But some of the dooming already, and I expect this, like, I might not be able to go on X for a couple days because it was already starting pretty much right after the delay of game. And I get it. And I talked about this on the live before the game. But thank you, Vince. I talked about it before the game and the fact that Allen has been playing so well and the team was on a winning streak. Even if Markey lost tonight's game 4-2, and say let up a couple goals that were considered kind of soft, I think the narrative would be the same. But the fact that it was 8 goals, I think is just going to further fuel it. And for the people that are out looking for blood, because we know that they exist, these people were starting early with the nonsense. And I'm just looking at my phone right now. There's like novels out here. I can't even keep up with this anymore on X. But if you're not following me on X, follow your boy on X. But thank you, Vince. Let me see if I have the graphic here. Trying to get a little more involved on X, but then nights like tonight often swiftly remind me as to why I was so hesitant to be on X to begin with. But follow your boy on X. Running with NJD. Trying to get a little more involved on there. Nights like tonight are excruciating, if I'm being real. But I just dropped the link in the chat to follow your boy on X. And I'm also getting a little more involved on the Instagrams. Follow me on that too. I want to drop the link in there for that. But tonight is a night that I hope to forget about. It may haunt my dreams. There's your boy on Instagram. Follow me on there. Put the link in the chat to that as well. Prezify, thank you for the super. I knew it was coming. I think Allen needs to be the 1A until Markstrom gets his mojo back, and also got to stay out of the box. Other than that, no one should be mad. 8-2. 8-2. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, the combination of Markey coming back and struggling when the team was on a winning streak with Allen playing so well. This is just a very normal comment by Prezify, voicing his kind of opinion about the state of the goaltending right now, but people have been just dramatic with it on all these platforms. And like I said, I might have to stay off X for a while. Some of the comments and things are wild, but back in action against San Jose on Thursday. I mean, let's get to these comments. Snow Devils says A's going to have a rough time reading the comments. I'm skimming them. I'm super far behind here. So Hokage penalties were the biggest killers. Yeah, penalties were pretty terrible. And definitely played a role in this epic beating. Anson says Keefe seems unhappy with Markstrom. I mean, after the game, Keefe claims we could have had 2 goalies in there and still lost, a point which I do disagree with. I do think if Allen's in there, the game we may have won the game. And again, maybe not. There were so many breakdowns and quality chances against. But if Allen was in there, I don't think he shoots the puck over the glass. And if that never happens, the whole game could have played out differently. Like, hypothetically, the Devils could have had a lead after the first. I think they had 17 shots in the first. They didn't play terribly. It was just a terrible result after one, being down 2-0. But, you know, it is what it is. For whatever reason, they decided to go with Markey. They gave him the net. That penalty really set things off in the wrong direction, and we never fully recovered. And shout out to the boys for fighting back, though. Who would have ever thought after it was 5-0, there'd be a point where it was 5-4 and we're all sitting there getting teased? They didn't lay down and die. And that's why, and that's another thing that gives me kind of, or reaffirms my belief in this team, because the Devils team from last year would have not pulled to within 5-4 after 5-0. It probably would have ended 8-0. But not this year's club. They did fight back. It was 5-4. Obviously, you know, I'm not really a moral victories, silver linings kind of guy. And so, yeah, you know, but it is what it is. It's something to take away from the game that they didn't just fold up. And they made a go of it. It's a shame they couldn't complete the comeback. It really would have been crazy. David Ryan, thank you for the super ace. It's all my fault. I should have prayed harder. Yeah, I don't know if any of that would have helped tonight. The boys just, you know, got thoroughly handed to them. They got it handed to them. But thank you, David. Maybe next time we could try something. Yeah, a lot of dooming in the comments. Let me see. Ride and respect. D played bad in general. Markey couldn't stop a beach ball. Special teams was bad. I will say seeing Grits still give 100% at there at the end made me proud. Love me some Grits. But what a painful night. And the streak is over. It came to an end in the most painful way possible. We were getting crushed. Then they teased us with a comeback, and then we lost 8-4. Keefe almost immediately just blamed Markey. See, I didn't take that from it. Because in the end, he said we could have had 2 goalies in there and still lost. So to me, that was him kind of, you know, not. To me, it's like the opposite. Like, he didn't blame Markey. He did say something about the penalty that seemed like he was mad about the penalty for sure. But in the end, I think he's more mad at the team for just all of the chances they allowed against than just the breakdowns. Alexander, thank you for the super. Ace, I'm so mad. I wait all year to see this team. Markey wasn't ready. Why is he in net? Play him again. Sharks. 4 goals in the second means nothing. I'm so mad anyway. Appreciate the lives. Yeah, I did think it should have been Allen. I never think when a guy's coming back after missing a couple weeks that it's a good idea for a goalie anyway to throw him in there against a potent team on the road that we had just beaten that you knew was going to be coming for blood. To me, that would have screamed start Jake Allen. But again, you know, I'm just a guy sitting here on YouTube upset with all of you guys. And so the staff had their reasons, whatever they were, to start Markey. Most of us before the game said we didn't like that move. And we were proven to be right somewhat, because we can't prove that if Allen was in there, they would have won, and we could have lost with Allen in there. But I don't know. I feel like that was a very winnable game, and it all just kind of played out differently than it would have because we were down so much. I don't know. And the refs screwed us too. I'm not making excuses. It was a bad game for the Devils. They got killed, and they got to figure it out. You know, be ready for San Jose, and you cannot play like that. That was an absolutely trash game. I'm curious to see if they tinker with the D pairs at all, if they leave them like that. Curious if they throw Seamus Casey out there again, or then maybe try Chalowski. That's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, very tough circumstance for him to come in as well. A team like the Avs that get in on the forecheck, again, very mad and wanting to get payback on us in their building. There was a lot going against us tonight, and they made a game of it. You have to tip your cap to the Avs. They played a great game, and the Devils fought back 5-4. I really thought they were going to pull it off. I really did. Steve says Chief Keefe should take some responsibility not playing a red hot tendy. I mean, there's definitely some there. We can't do revisionist history and prove what would have happened if Allen was in there. But I don't think he would have given up 8. But no way to prove it. Just my opinion. But the team was sloppy. Shiver me timbers. I think Keefe did throw Markstrom out to the Wolves with the Avs being his first start, but he should be able to handle those situations at this point. And I think that's probably part of it as well. I'm sure Markey was kind of in somebody's ear trying to get the start. He doesn't strike me as a guy that'd be very quiet, and I'm sure he was like, I'm good to go. I want to be back and I want to play. But what a brutal return. I mean, that's got it. I mean, and here's the thing. Markey did make some big saves at points, but he also let in some bad ones. And so it's hard to get excited about the good saves when the other goals were allowed. But I'm not nearly as bloodthirsty as some of you are about Markey. It was just, I think, a terrible decision all around for him to come back in this particular game. I just think that was a miscalculation. And hopefully, he plays a couple games, however long it takes, and he looks like the Markey of old. But tonight was very discouraging. Doug Zell says, should have rolled with the same lineup from last game, eased Markstrom back with a start in San Jose. This game was embarrassing. Damian, the boys will bounce back. I got no worries here. Plus, we have ample time to screw up if need be. We built a good lead. Yeah, but I don't want to be talking about, we built up these points and then just kind of glossing over horrific losses. Like, they must immediately, get the ship righted and come back with a big performance in San Jose on Thursday. Anston says, imagine if we had Hellebuck in net. Myself and Steve the Maniac really, really wanted Hellebuck when there were those rumors. I don't know how credible they were, but there was rumors in the summer after that 22-23 season that the Jets may have moved him. And myself and Steve the Maniac, we're both disciples of the Lou Lamoriello School of Hockey, in which you build a team from the net out. Just get the fin. And when we heard that the Devils might be interested in Hellebuck, we were both all in. All in. Couldn't have been more interested in somebody than we both were in Hellebuck, because whenever you have a guy like that, you really have a chance to win every single night. And it would have shored up the goaltending position for years, but it didn't happen. I do think hopefully Markey finds his game and him and Allen can still continue to be a good tandem. But we also we have Dawes in the organization as well. I do believe in our goaltending. The Insane Pollock, anyone here that's severely dooming and wasn't here for the win streak, hope Ace lays the banhammer on the lot of you. Yeah, I mean, so you guys are going to have to help me police, some of you regulars, because there's a lot of people in here that might slip through the cracks where I don't recall them not being here. Some I will know, but some might slip in here undetected, and start dooming that weren't here for the win streak when they were hiding in their closets. And now, now that there was a loss, they're coming out to celebrate the loss. And I hate those kind of people. But Ryan, respect, thank you for the super. To be honest, hindsight 2020, I start Allen this game and the San Jose game. Sharks didn't roll over and die last game, and we had Pesce. 17 shots, but pretty quality. Thank you for the super, Ryan, and respect. Yeah, I definitely would have started Allen tonight, and I probably would have given Markstrom the San Jose start just because, he was itching to get back for sure, which is why he was out there tonight. But I just think, Allen against the Avs, Markey against the Sharks would have been the move, but that didn't happen. And now I'm curious to see if they go right back to Markey to kind of let him try to clear this from his conscience, or if we do see Allen next game. That is an interesting thing to find out. And we will know probably Thursday morning. But thank you, Ryan, and respect. Really appreciate that. All right, let me try to catch up. Jay Snow without Pesce, it looked brutal. It did. It really did. It didn't help that we were on the penalty kill so much. Insane says you were here for the win streak, Anson. You were fine. Jason, the Pesce injury is one that really might really start to become more obvious. Yeah, I mean, the penalty kill alone, right? Again, we allowed 2 power play goals against in the first 9 games of the season. We allowed 4 tonight. So through 9 games, 2 power play goals against through 9 games, and then game without Brett Pesce, 4 against. Double the amount of a 9-game sample size in a single game. That is completely insane. Frank says Pesce's true value is on display tonight. Adjustment will be made. Yeah. Traveling says Ace brought it up earlier. Too many youngins on D. Inexperience on the blue line could haunt you. Eric says I blame the Avs for this loss. Anson goalies seem to do good when they leave here. Some of them, and some of them are on fire. Obviously, the Avalanche tandem is 2 former Devils goalies, Blackwood and Wedgewood. I think they're going to win a cup. I said it on a live the day Blackwood got traded to the Avalanche. I said, I do believe Blackwood wins a cup with the Avalanche. I just think that they're built to contend. I think he's finally kind of over his younger kind of ups and downs, and he's a little bit more well-rounded, solid goalie now. And with that team, because they're such a weapon, I think he eventually wins a cup with them. He just signed, a 5-year deal last year? I think they win a cup in that time span. Steve says we don't need a marquee extension if Allen and Dawes play well consistently. I mean, I certainly would, especially after tonight, would like to see a little bit more of Markey before they throw out a contract extension. Unless, I do think it would be kind of jumping the gun and a little crazy to invest from what the reports are, like 5 years at $5 million. I mean, I don't know how you do that or how you're in a rush to do that after tonight's game. Granted, the team did not play well, but neither did Markey. So he's part of it too. I think you just have to kind of wait and see. I'm curious to see how that all plays out. Pro Bowl says, Anson, you could say that for players who leave different teams for other teams. It doesn't always work out that way, but sometimes it does. And St. Pollock, as soon as Markstrom led in the first one, Keefe should have yanked him. I mean, we're on the power play because of him. I would have laughed. And as soon as the penalty was called, I did get kind of like a pit in my stomach. I was like, oh no, this is going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, the costly penalty. And then they go on the power play and score. And that's literally what happened. And it was kind of a mess from there. Oregano dealer, what's going on? Hey, at least the Metro teams that matter lost 2, and the Mammoth streak ended tonight as well. Blaming Palat is a wild take. Yeah, someone earlier said something about Palat. I mean, nothing to do with this, in my opinion. Pro Bowl forever. I feel like Allen could be a good mentor for Malik and Yegorov. Oh, for sure. The pros pro. All right, I'm super far behind now. Traveling, I'll never agree with the way the goalies are managed nowadays. All right, sorry, guys. I'm going to have to fully skip. There's a lot of comments in here, and like I've said before, great wins or devastating losses typically bring out a lot of people and stir up a lot of dialogue. All right, so I'm just trying to get I'm skipping fully ahead here. Alexander the Greg really missing 22 on the PK, and it shows get well soon. Pesce sounds like his hand. Yeah. Really, really painful. Without him on that PK, they go 4 for 6. Yo, Holmes replacing Pesce with a kid playing his second total game off an injury instead of playing Chalowski was plain stupid. I mean, it's easy to say that one. I'm not gonna, that's one that I can't really. I get what you're saying, and if Chalowski was right-handed, it would have been him. But I think they were. Keefe, and he talked about it, I guess, after the pregame, the morning skate, or maybe after, whenever it was, when he talked to the media, he had mentioned looking for, to fill the sides without having to flop somebody to the offside, essentially. Because then you're talking about making new pairs and having someone play on their offside. I mean, that's a whole lot. Just having everyone play their natural side with new pairs is kind of an uphill battle already to do it on the fly for the first time in Colorado against this team who was looking for a bench. But then to do that with someone playing on their offside, I think really would have been testing fate, if you will. But I can understand people wanting Chalowski, more of a veteran. But I think Keefe was just straight up going with A righty's out. Let's throw another righty in. Ride and respect. At least Allen is starting in San Jose. They weren't exactly a walk in the park either last time. Wouldn't trust Markey there either. I mean, he's going to be back out there soon. Michael says, keep talking BS. Deposit your apologies in the comments now. Tell him, Michael. Tell him, Michael. I don't know who even you're waiting on apologies for, but I'm all about it. Deposit your apologies in the comments, whatever Michael's talking about. It might be about Dougie, actually. Rich, what's going on? Just got back from the game. That was rough to watch in person, but that second period was pretty electric. Horrible start, bad penalties, and a missed high stick on Dougie on the power play was too much. Rich, how jacked were you when they scored the fourth goal? After that jack goal, you must have been flying high in that arena. 5-4, you definitely thought they were coming back too. I mean, I did. After that goal, I was like, oh my God, we're coming back and winning this. And you were at the arena getting teased like that too. Is anyone a fan of Markey's new mask? I think it's all right, but I like a lot of his old ones better. True Patriot, what's up? He says, wow, going to need the deneuralizer for that one. Markey just bad, and when he went down, he was already not looking ready for season. I get leaving man needs work, but looked a bit out of place. I mean, it's just it's a tough situation to come into. Hopefully, whenever his next start is, he looks nothing like that, and the team looks much better. It was, like I said, it was a lot of things. The new D pairings really proved to be problematic, more so than anything else, honestly, and then that all just kind of snowballed. Jason knows the lack of physicality was so frustrating. Ride and respect. Need Pesce back badly. We needed a gut check. Yeah, well, that was one, and we were not up for the challenge today. Keefe not having Dougie start the season on play. Yeah, I think, you know, I'm for my power play one. I'm firmly on, and I won't be budged from this as long as all of these players are here. I am all about, for me, there's only one power play one unit that makes sense to me as the YouTube guy that has no NHL coaching experience or any of this. But in my opinion, and then some of you agree with me, I know this, the core four, every power play one, I'm going Jack, Nico, Timo, Bratter, and Dougie on the quarterback. That is the power play one unit I personally would put out there every single time. But like I said, coming into this game, the Devils were 31%, 30.8% on the power play heading into this game. So, you know, whatever they've been doing with their little matchups has been working. So it's hard to really, I can't really get mad. It's just my opinion. I can't really be animated about it because the results are there. I'm not a crazy person. If the results are there, I don't care if you told me the power play was a bunch of guys we would have never thought about putting out there. If you're converting at 31%, then so be it. Ryder Respect says, so many of those Avs floaters that Markey had trouble with would usually have been blocked by Pesce. I mean, maybe. Brandon says, give Edwards a shot on D with Pesce out. Need big defense, not more offense. We have enough thus far. I could agree with that. I was high on Edwards for a while. I've talked about him. He's always looked good to me at development camp. The few times I've seen him, he looked pretty decent, and he had some good preseason games. But he's also a lefty. That's the thing. He's a lefty. We need right. So again, someone would have to play on their offside, which is not ideal. The guy the Devils are the most comfortable with playing on their offside is Pesce, and that's because he is the seasoned vet and he is so good. But now when you're talking about when Pesce is the guy that's hurt, I don't know how many other guys Keefe is going to be really comfortable with playing on the offside with a new partner because all the pairings got rearranged. Dan says the Doomers came out so fast. Oh, are you new around here, Dan? This is typically how it works. The Doomers come out quick, man. Devils lose a game. Those Doomers are flocking. The Doomers are quick to mobilize. after a loss. They come out quick. All right, I'm super far behind. Let me. Ank, silencer, Doomers get out. In this house, we believe 8-2-0 is a great start. 100%. Yo, Home says, move Mercer back to 3C and call up our new hero, Angus Crookshanks. I don't know what the answer is. Very curious to see what the lineup is for next game. Cody says we got to carry 3 goalies if Markey can't play. I can't see him doing it. I can't see them doing it. Justin, it's amazing how one man Pesce can transform, and not in a good way, a team that much, the amount of moving around lines. Yeah. As a result of him being injured, Keefe had to shuffle all the D pairings, and they kind of looked out of sorts all night, and it was kind of a mess. Combined with excessive penalties called by the refs, combined with a shaky, trying to shake off the rust and not a great start from Markey, it makes it pretty messy overall. Justin Smith says 16 out of a possible 20 points. I'm fine with that. Yep, that they call that 800 points percentage hockey. I'll take that any day. And anyone coming into the season, any one of you here would have signed up for 8-2 in a heartbeat and been ecstatic about it. Frank says, had to be fair, Markey got little help from the D. I would put the blame 90% Markey, 10% D. I'd probably give the D more percent than that. But in the end, they both have played a part in it. Rich Grits looked even better in person. That kid has the ability to find people through the small seams, great hands, and incredible vision. I love Grits. How can you not? What's going on, Larry? He says, the knives on Facebook are just as sharp as X. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. True Patriot can't defend Markey tonight, but I felt this was not the spot for start. Always go with the hot hand. Markey didn't look ready in game 1. And with the injury, may be a bit something. Yeah, I wouldn't have started him here either, but they obviously had their reasons. Kane says, win or lose, smash the like button. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. And for our New Jersey Devils, who fell tonight, but had a beautiful 8-game winning streak beforehand. We came in second TF. Win or lose, it's the like button we choose. Thank you. Justin, can't win them all. On to the next one. Yeah. That just sucks. I wanted the streak to last a little bit longer. Man, the time, yeah, I got to just keep skipping ahead. I'm trying to get to some of these, but I'm far behind on the timeline. Alexander says, Ace, one positive for tonight. I met Chico Resch. He came to the Colorado Devils fans meetup. That's awesome. Chico's the man, right? How nice is Chico? He talks to everybody, takes pictures, signs autographs. He's like the mayor of the Prudential Center. One of them, anyway. The ultimate mayor is Mr. Devil, Ken Danico. But Chico's definitely up there as well. The guy that's been around the organization forever and is just super friendly. Krung says Markstrom definitely plays next game. Coaches are kicking themselves in the ass for playing him now and will act like it's a clean slate. Oh, man. I'm curious when that announcement comes out. Stick Fix is going to suck not having a Keefe post-game victory speech to tuck me in tonight. Those are some great speeches. I really love those too. What's going on, Selected Boy? Cody Skill says Avs versus Devils final. I talked about this after the last game. I would not be shocked if we did see a 2001 Stanley Cup final rematch 25 years later in the 2026 Cup final. Our beloved New Jersey Devils versus the Colorado Avalanche. I certainly would love to get retribution on them in the finals and payback for what was the most excruciating loss of my personal sports fan career. That 2001 Cup Finals will forever be. Nothing gets more painful than losing a Game 7 of the Cup Finals, especially after you had a 3-2 series lead with the chance to win the Cup on home ice with your boy in the building. Never get over it. Larry says if the Avs win a Cup with Blackwood, it's mostly because he's on IR. I think he's going to backstop them to a Cup. Selected Boy says Markstrom was bad, but the defense was worse. Two, the Avs fans went silent after that fourth goal when we were starting to get NJ annoying out there. Totally thought we were going to take it. I thought when it was 5-4, I was like, are they really going to do this? But obviously it was not in the cards, and the full-scale comeback was thwarted. We had the momentum going, but lost it at that penalty, and then that was it. St. Paul says Allen may have stopped some of those breakaways, but the power play blasts, I don't know. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm trying to skip, those mad comments here. I'm trying. You guys know the deal. I try my best. Don't get salty and whiny, please. If your comment is that good, then put it out there multiple times till I eventually read it. Which is probably a good tactic, but I'm encouraging people to spam the chat, I guess. But yeah, I was too far behind, so I had to skip like a ton. Brandon says, I think right now Casey is too risky with the current D-man setup. It very well may be. It could be. Alan says, A's hate that the Rags won, but every loss Vancouver takes, I feel it's closer to us getting Quinn. I've said it a million times. I do think the Canucks hold on for dear life to Quinn Hughes for as long as possible and do not trade him until Quinn straight up tells them definitively that I am not re-signing here no matter what. And until that happens, I think they are just going to hold out hope that the team is good and hope that he wants to stay, because they know that is a massive public relations loss. No matter what you get in return for Quinn Hughes, it'll be a package of futures with maybe a couple roster players, but in the end, you're not getting one player that is of the ilk of Quinn Hughes. And so that fan base will complain about it forever, never stop talking about it. And they know that that's the case. So they're going to try everything they can to keep Quinn Hughes. But I think it's inevitable that he will leave in free agency. Hokic, this game hurts, but they still have a great record. It would be worse if we had a losing record. On to the next one. Sharks will still be a challenge. No game is a free win. Let's get back on track. Let's go Devils. Yeah, you're not kidding. No game is a free win. And we've struggled with bad teams for the past couple of years, including the Sharks. I think the last 2 years we were 1-3 against the Sharks, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan respects that the Devils Facebook community is a cancer. Do you have which one are you talking about specifically? There's a lot of groups on there. And in the end, there's a lot of cancer, in my opinion, on all of them. Not everybody, but there's pockets of people that are just brutal. JP, I've been a fan since 82. The fan base today is quick to doom. Wins come and go. We will get them next game. It's one flipping game. Fans need to take a breather. Yeah, I'm breathing fine. This is probably the calmest I could possibly be given the circumstances that they lost 8-4. And again, you just have to take a step back and have a little perspective, understand all the things that they were up against tonight, and not to excuse it, but the reality is the reality. There was so many things that they were going against tonight that they could not overcome, and as a result, they lose an ugly one, 8-4. But this is after an 8-game heater against some very good teams. Jason knows that I still hate Colorado to this day because of the finals. Same here. Same here. Evan says I wouldn't give Markey an extension. Husky, I have zero interest in playing MacKinnon and Makar in the final. It would certainly be a very entertaining and fun final. It really would. Evan says don't want to see his Avalanche team again. Yeah, well, tonight was a painful one. Larry, none of our cup-winning teams hit their high water mark in October. a little diversity now can mean a little extra sharp experience come May. It could be. But I would also like to just see a team play solid all year long. JP says, I'm surprised Markey was not pulled. I thought there was a chance he could have been after the 4th. And then the 5th came, and I was like, but we know Keefe doesn't like to pull the starters. He likes to give the guys that are off the night off, and I think he's just kind of like, if you're getting lit up, that's on you, goalie. Like, the other guy needs his rest for his next start, and so I'm not going to cut into that rest and recuperation time because you're having a bad night. I think that's kind of where he's at with that. We've seen goalies out there for good chunks of time after getting lit up. Yahom says, haven't seen one person dooming, saying Markey sucks isn't dooming, he sucked. Okay. Jay Snow, no rush. Let the year play out. Eric says 12 penalty minutes, 42 shots on goal, 4 power play goals allowed. That's what our defense was versus that Avs offense that you guys are crucifying Markey. Allen and Net would have been the same result with that display. So I'm definitely not crucifying Markey. It was not a good game. I mean, if you're going to try to tell me it was a good game, I mean, I think that's a little maniacal, but I'm not absolutely killing him for it like some people are, but I knew this was coming. Obviously, how fans react. X is brutal. But I do have to put a good chunk of the loss on him. In the end, you're the goalie. Yes, there was breakdowns and all these things, but you got to come up with a big save. And he did come up with some big saves, but he also let in some tragic goals. So it's hard to be like, oh, those saves are phenomenal when shots he should have stopped were not stopped. But hopefully he sharpens up. He hasn't played in a couple of weeks and came back in a very tough one. The Avs are filthy. Soon we'll have Angus Crookshank and then run for the cup will be complete. Hokage, good ace, and the rest of the gang. See you next game. Also hit the thumbs up, you heathens. Thanks, Hokage. Hit the thumbs up, you heathens. Pride and respect, I feel like there's really not many meaningful things to say about this game tonight. It's one that will be forgotten in due time, and not much of it will the team take from it going forward. The only thing that they will take going forward is that they really are never dead in a game. 5-0, I was like, all right, counting down until I had to come on here and deal with some, people dooming, which luckily there wasn't that many people in here doing that, but they fought back and made it 5-4. I mean, that's got to be somewhat encouraging. And think about, just for the mental status of the players, the next time they're down 2 or even 3 goals in a game, it could be like, oh, we're down 2 or 3. We were down 5-0 at Colorado, and we scored 4 goals in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. Like, those are things that, that will be kind of in the subconscious or not so subconscious in games where they're chasing and need offense. They're like, we've done this before. We have the capability here to do it. Sean, do we see what we have in Edwards? I don't think so. If he was a righty, I would say yes, but he's a lefty, and so I don't think so. Jay Snow says no more Lamico, I should say, at 3C. First game for him too, Snow. I mean, I'm always willing to give people a couple more games than that, but, am I impressed in the opening game? No. But it's also hard to judge. Again, tough game, and the whole team looked bad. So, Roman Czechmonic, I just hope timomeier can learn not to take penalties while they have huge momentum making a giant comeback. Yeah, I want to go back and watch some of the calls and some of this game. Super unfortunate penalty to take at that time when the ice was tilted in the Devils' favor and they had all the momentum. Down 5-0, and now it's 5-4. I think the crowd was stunned. Paulie Wallace, this game reminded me of Patrick Waugh's last game with Montreal where he was humiliated and left in. Yeah, I'll never forget that either. Didn't he get lit up for 10 and then he stormed off the bench and told the guy I'll never play. It was the GM or the coach. I think it was the GM. He said, I'll never play for the Canadians again. And then he got shipped to the Avalanche. Wild stuff. What a story. Yo Holmes says, in between periods, Maddie was interviewing the Comets announcer. And he said, Angus has been the man in there. Okay. JP, we either have the worst luck in the NHL or these players may not be conditioned enough. I'm not sure which. A player hurt. I talked about this earlier. It's just bad luck. You can't – there's nothing that any trainers or medical people or strength and conditioning people could do when guys are just getting hit with pucks and things are breaking, or if they take a hit and something happens. Like, these are contact injuries. They're not like, oh, he was just skating and ripped a muscle or something. Like, there's contact that's causing this. And so there is no way for these medical professionals to ensure these things never happen. Like, Brett Pesce got hit with probably a 100-mile-an-hour slap shot in the hand, I believe. What do you want a medical trainer to do beforehand about that? Outside of making him like a Terminator metal glove to go inside his hockey glove, what is he going to do that's going to prevent that from happening? There's nothing they could do. Daniel says, Markey's the man. I think he'll bounce back. He was awesome last season. I certainly hope so. Snow says he'd rather see Mercer at 3C. I totally can understand why people say that as well. I did really like him and do like him with Nico and Timo. But we shall see. Select the boy, just this one game they hopefully learn a lesson from. David, forget this game. It's just one of those weird 80s nights where the game gets out of control. They happen a few times a season. Legit to be concerned about Markey's play, but still a small sample. I'm kind of right with you, David. Like, I'm kind of over the game already. And my kind of lingering thought of it is like, I hope Markey rebounds from this, and this is not more of or a preview of what's to come. He needs to be better and in a hurry. Benjamin says it's up in Utica. 4-star commander Wedgewood owns us badly. Yes, he does. Completely owns us. Jason, no, Pesce eats pucks like it's a job. No one else does like him. No. And as a result, he pays the price in the form of injury. It's going to be hard for him to ever play a full season just because of the style he plays. Blocking those shots is a very just physically taxing style of play as a defenseman. We just need him healthy for the playoffs. Markey still looks hurt. I don't think they would have let him play if he was hurt. I could be wrong, but I think the last thing they would want to do is rush back a guy who had an injury last year, rush him back this year to play before he's ready while the team's playing good. Again, I could be wrong, and he could have tried to conceal it. I have no idea, but I didn't get that kind of vibe. Ride and respect. I'll never forget the 8-3 spanking the Devils gave Vegas a few years ago with Kincaid and Ned. It happens to the best of teams. Yeah, it really is. Roman Czechmonic. Lemico is our favorite non-NHL caliber player, though. We have to see what we have in that 29-year-old. He has a wicked wrist shot right into the crest. Oh, man, you guys are brutal. And that was our Insane Pollock. That was our first loss with La Greca. Roman says, Pesce will never make it to the playoffs. That's the only doom I will give tonight. I certainly hope you're wrong. We need playoff Pesce. More people upset about Markey getting the start. Yo Holmes says, what's up with Chalowski? Why even carry him if they aren't going to play him, especially with 2 starters out? Well, I think the logic there is that eventually a left D is going to get hurt at some point, right? I mean, it's inevitable. And when that happens, Chalowski will be in there. Terrible. Husky Unchained says, I was listening to the game and Chico said Wedgewood is giving us a wedgie tonight. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, no pitchfork in this one tonight, Ride and respect. None at all. World's worst gamer threw away 2 points for no good reason. JP, it seems true. Markey doesn't seem to do good on his first game back after injury. Benjamin says, I like Halo out there. I said it. I like Hallinan. I'm a Hallinan guy. He totally fits in the mold of heavier, edgier, more violent. I am totally a Hallinan guy. And I'm a McEwen guy. Again, in some hypothetical world that seems too good to be true, that all of the Devils' whole roster is healthy, I would have to really sit down and think about what I would pick as my lines. But I imagine we would have at a minimum, 5 decent lines of forwards with the extras. At least 5 lines. You then make it worse by letting him get shelled. How do you not pull him after 4 goals? I think that's probably where I would have. But they left him in there. Keefe doesn't like to give the goalie with the night off extra stress, and which makes me probably believe even more that Allen might be out there for San Jose, but nothing would surprise me anymore, because I was a bit surprised that, like many of you, that they picked tonight of all nights to bring Markey back. A bit surprising to me, given what we know about the Avs and everything else. It just seemed like a game that you're like, let's just ride the hot hand with Allen, like many of you have pointed out. That kind of seemed like the common sense, logical thing to do. But again, who are we? We don't know anything, right? It's just like we ended up, at least at a surface level, looks like we may our reservations were justified. Oh, no, Brandon. Why would you say this? Brandon says, does anyone want to counter bet me right now that there will be a new injury in the morning? I'd have to – I would probably agree with you, Brandon. Sadly. There's been injuries in what, more than half the games? It's crazy. Completely crazy, but – JP officiating is awful as usual. The refs are horrible. All right, guys, that's it. This was a demoralizing one, at least for the night. The streak comes to an end. 9 was not in the cards. The boys did pull off an 8-game heater, though. So early in the season, they lose 1 game and then pull off an 8-game heater. Got to be happy with that overall. Jackhughes continues to light it up. 2 goals. Some of you owe apologies to Dougie in the comments. I will be looking for those deposited apologies about Dougie Hamilton in the comments. Many of you are just looking to ship him off and trust the I guess I should say entrust our blue line to a bunch of children. I think was a little bit premature and misguided. So deposit those apologies in the comments for number 7, Dougie Hamilton. Oh my God, the chat just blew up. Brandon says that this rate gambling apps are going to add a New Jersey Devils section to bet on if there's going to be a new injury after the game. It's terrible. World's Worst Gamer, Allen and Dawes would be just fine by me. Roman can't believe that 8-gamer was sandwiched the way it was. Yeah, the brutal loss in Raleigh and then the spanking in Colorado tonight. All right, guys, that's it. I'm exhausted, mentally, physically exhausted. It sucks. It is what it is. Throw this one out the window, and hopefully the Devils get back to their winning ways Thursday night in San Jose. Going to be very interesting to see who's in net, what the line combinations are once again, what the D pairings are going to be. Is Casey going to play again? Are they going to try Chalowski, maybe somebody else? These are all questions that are going to be interesting to see Thursday morning at some point ahead of that Sharks game. But now they need to kind of get it back in gear and get another beautiful win Thursday night to improve to 9-2. But appreciate you all. Shout out to everyone that came out to the live earlier. Thank you all for your continued support over however long you've been here for. If you're newer to the channel, check out some of the vlogs and some of the newer videos. Poke around. And that's it, guys. I'm done. I'll be back soon. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. And go to some other videos and hit the thumbs up on there too. Check them all out. The vlogs from this season are kind of interesting. including which one was that? Is it the Sharks one? The Sharks vlog has my locker room question debut. If you haven't seen that, I asked questions to Nico and Dougie, and I also asked one to Sheldon Keefe. That's in the Sharks vlog. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm dying. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go. Devils.